You have a bad attitude. You want to protect your body? You want to get out of this somewhat healthy? You want another chapter or 2 or 3 in your life? You selfish son of a...
Why are WWE so intent on making Becky Lynch a heel? That's the question.
That is a very good question. But I think I answered it a little bit earlier with the Sabu stuff where they try to change what he was naturally already great at. People want to like her. She got over. Nia Jax punched her in the nose. She stood there in the people in the crowd. That was her moment. That was her moment that made her a star, and she ran with it and became the man. Worked Charlotte. There was all that stuff and everything, and stayed perennially kind of the upper to the top, whether she left or came back temporarily, however long she stayed. But they want to make her a heel. Now, if you want to talk about certain theories, alternative theories, are they trying to make her less than because she did go away to have a baby, and she had done an interview a while ago saying wrestling wasn't the most important thing in her life anymore? God forbid, right?
Yeah.
Home Alone. Did your Home Alone face. Do it again.
Have you been criticized for that before? What, wrestling isn't the most important thing in your life?
No, I was a complete phony and acted like it was the most important thing in my life. I love this business. Yes, you're a good person. You're a good person. I look up to you. And I would say just like that. I don't think I remember someone. Sincere.
I remember someone. I've never interviewed, but I remember talking to someone in the business, and this person said, "Hey, some people, even when I was getting into the business, looked at me lesser than because I didn't want to do this my entire life." And I thought that was so stupid a way of looking at it, because what does it matter? It was like somehow you're less than. You know, if you haven't wanted to be a wrestler since, you figure forward your way out of the womb or whatever you say. It's like, what difference does it make as long as, you've got a passion for it now and you're, willing to learn and et cetera, et cetera. What's the difference?
Well, because they secretly, maybe not so secretly, the promoters, the people in the business, the people in the company, they want to squeeze every bit of usefulness out of you. And then when you're not totally on board with doing stuff to self-harm yourself or put yourself to where you can change the trajectory of your life and career, you have a bad attitude. You want to protect your body? You want to get out of this somewhat healthy? You want another chapter or 2 or 3 in your life? You selfish son of a bitch. We're a family. What are you talking about? Oh, you're released. It's only business.
You can come back anytime. How about tomorrow?
Hey, you're welcome back I told that story. Hey, Stevie, you're welcome back whenever you want. Okay, I'll see you Monday. Whoa, wait a minute. So what's the deal with Becky Lynch?
That's what I was going to ask, because this is now the second time. I had a theory in my head is that she really wants to be the bad guy or just enjoys playing the bad guy more. And I think, doesn't it just get to a point where you're just pushing water uphill or whatever that saying is?
Well, her heel character, to me, it's not as good as her babyface character, because even though the saying is, or at least the comparison is, it's much easier to be hated than loved. Her and Cena are the opposite. People like them no matter what. Even though Cena gets the dual chance of you suck and let's go Cena, Becky doesn't even have a 50-50 right now. She's mostly still cheered to some degree, or at least they watch. And the apathy, too, of not knowing how to do this or how to react to her is not positive, it's negative. I feel like that Cena and Becky, you can tell they are acting like a heel. They're playing a heel. I'm mean. I don't care about you. I care about me.
You made me do this.
You made
each and every
You don't know
one
me.
Of you.
You don't know me. You don't. Remember that?
We still haven't watched that yet,
Marina Shafir.
Yeah, we
I said her name right. I think I called her Shakira or something.
Shakira.
But that's what it is. It's not. There's no truth in it. Now you can't. And also, you can't come onto TV in the past, and you're going to be a mother, the most baby-faced job ever to exist in history, and then come back and be a heel for the second time. You're in dangerous Paul Orndorff territory of you're a babyface, a heel, babyface, and a heel. Guess what? We don't care either way. That's the worst. And that's where she has to be careful. So she's not getting the other girl over, the friend, Lyra Valkyrie, I think her name is. Mm-hmm. She's not getting her over. The girl looks green in the ring with her. The girl doesn't hang promo-wise. The girl doesn't sting her with truths. It's flat and it's dead on arrival. I don't know. To me, I feel like even though it's a different regime, my thought is they never forget when she said, or they never forgot. They never forget what you say ever, but they didn't forget when she said, this is not the most important thing. So therefore, you're not the most important thing to them anymore. That's what it feels like. I have no other explanation for it.
Yeah, there's been a theme of ever since Drew McIntyre changed up his character completely, and then he always had his reasons for doing the things he did, and they were always grounded and based for the most part. You could see where he was coming from for most of the reasoning for his dastardly actions, where ever since The Rock disappeared with after John Cena did the thing with Travis Scott and etc., that doesn't ring true. And then the Becky Lynch thing feels even more forced, and I don't get it. It's like she had a huge cheer when she returned, and most people figured she was returning. So it wasn't like the biggest surprise in the world, or a lot of people did anyway. But then, yeah, I don't get that one. I mean, and I wonder how much autonomy or how someone in Becky's position could just go to the creative team and say, actually, I'm more comfortable as a heel and I want to do this, and they'll go, okay, fine, and we'll work it in. But then there's sort of like this almost like retconning to sort of just conjure up a half-baked reason for the actions.
Well, and also, here's the thing. People know she's married to Seth Rollins. Why is she not in the group?
Yes.
If you're going to give her heat, she wants to be with her husband. I don't care about your fans or the people that love me. I love my husband, and I'm standing by him. That group needs a woman in order to do what they need to do, because Judgment Day is kind of just, their days are numbered as far as they have the females. They're going to break up. Something's going to happen. It's long overdue. That group, having Becky as a woman, to even do the old Savage and Elizabeth spot and stand in front of the babyface male, I can't move her. I can't touch. You see what I mean? There's tons that can be done. But now, I understand it. You're a bitch. You're not a good woman or anything. You love your husband. So I understand your motivation for being a heel now because you want to join him. And then Paul can be the Paul Heyman guy for a female for the first time. It can be a special thing. Yeah, but yeah, even if Becky wants the creative, here's what creative has to do. All right, you want to be a heel, but now we got to look at how many, the ECW Elimination Chamber ratios. We got to look at how many baby faces and heels we have in a company, who you're going to work, how's this going to hurt merchandise sales, and why aren't we putting you with your husband? Why do they keep avoiding that until, guess what? It's 5 years too late, and then they put them together and nobody cares.
I think the other thing is that just how quickly it happened. Because she came back to WrestleMania.
If it should have happened, it should have happened at WrestleMania. During that match, if you're going to do it. Not win the tag belts and then you won the tag belts and then you turned your back after winning a championship with your best friend. She never explained it. Did she? Did I miss something?
Yeah, I think she probably explained it, but it was the fans that made her do it. It was a bad explanation.
So the fans made her do it, so then the fans can say, well, why would we buy a ticket? We make our favorite wrestler turn heel. Yeah. I got to turn the TV off. I'm responsible for making the product worse.
Yeah, the tickets are expensive and I'm a detriment to the product. Anyway, one more thing very briefly. Apparently, she was upset about people comparing her to Hulk Hogan, calling her Becky Hogan. I suspect this was because she just ended up in WrestleMania with no build, nothing happened. She was gone for a year and then goes straight back into a prominent match. And she said something to the effect of, why would I want to be compared to the scummiest person on earth? I was like, okay, so you're shooting on Hulk Hogan there, who at the moment pretty much nobody likes. So even that, is probably getting a points.
I still make the point that if Hogan had any kind of power or stroke or control of any sort, nobody would ever say those things in wrestling. The wrestling bubble, once again. It's cold to down on Hogan or dunk on Hogan right now. That's it. And maybe the generation's different. They don't care. They don't whatever. But if Vince was there and he was still Hogan's, like, you know, he supported Hogan and whatever Hogan did, he was the biggest draw ever. Okay. You could probably say that scummy wrestlers on top and across the board. You know what I mean? You could say a lot of different things.